Greetings, citizens of Nerdtropolis. Sean Todd here, the mayor of Nerdtropolis, and on this episode of Real Insights, my guest is actor Nicky Whelan, who stars in Crescent City. Hello, Nicky.
Hi, love. How are you?
I'm doing great. Great to finally meet you.
I know your backdrop is very similar to mine, nice and bright.
Yes, and I was gonna say I actually really dig your posters or your I guess they're canvases back there. I mean, I love
Uh-huh.
it.
Big canvases. I just realized I have an avocado sitting in the background.
I love that. But I really did enjoy your new film, Crescent City, which was a wild roller coaster for me. Put my brain to work. I was like, where is this taking me? What's going on? Who's who? I really loved it. It was something I haven't seen in quite a while.
Yeah, it was one of the draws for me with the script was, because you have one twist in a movie, but this had many twists and turns, and it just keeps going. And I kind of love that, and I hope that the audience sees that and sort of gets into that and gets surprised all along the way. I was surprised, and one of the fun parts of being a performer in it is making the choices of how much are we going to let on this scene, and we're keeping it authentic and sort of maybe if you go back and watch it a second time, will you notice things more clearly then, and so it's part of the fun in putting it together.
Other than the twists and turns we see in this film, what initially drew you to this film when you saw the script and saw how your character is laid out?
Jacqueline's just a fun, complicated, wild, kind of naughty, but also passionate with a lot of trauma character. She knows there's a lot going on for her. There's always an appeal to that. Obviously, RJ, the director, has been a friend of mine for 17 years. We'd worked together on one of my first movies in LA. So we had been looking for something to do together. I really enjoyed the script. And then obviously, you've got this incredible cast of men with huge careers that are such a treat to work with. So it's sort of a no brainer, really.
Yeah, what a cast. That includes Terrance Howard, Esai Morales, and Alec Baldwin. And of course, you. There's a lot of star power on the set. What was it like working along this trio? Like it's really wild because everyone has their big blockbuster moments in their career too. And they've been around a long time, just like you. So how was it like?
They're so gracious and so cool. Like they're so cool. And this in particular, like Esai and Terrance's chemistry is so funny off camera. They need their own side skit. They had incredible chemistry. And Alec is such a force. He's so powerful. So he plays this incredible captain that's keeping all of us naughty ones, in line, which was so much fun, which was really the dynamic when we're in those office scenes together. And for such big personalities to come together and be so humble and so cool and show up with these characters and their personalities, it came together beautifully. It was a pleasure to go to set. It was a special movie. It was one of those ones where everyone really didn't want it to end. It was great.
Everyone came to play, work hard, have fun, and create something super special. So definitely love the cast of all four of y'all together. This film delves into the psychological toll of hunting a serial killer. What type of preparation did you do for this role in this movie? Jumping into this wild genre.
I just come off a huge comedy with 24-hour turnover, literally from Kentucky to Arkansas. My prep time was pretty quick. I had some time before all the shooting to think about bits and pieces, but so much of the magic, I knew my character, I knew what I wanted to do with her, but I keep a very open heart when I go into this stuff because I'm also working with great, great actors who bring so much to their characters. And I love the moments where you have no idea what they're going to do and sort of organically seeing the magic that happens in scenes. And RJ just leaves us all alone to let us do our thing. And so, with that being said, you get some great moments. So preparing, but also letting go, open heart, and sort of let's see where this goes, and sort of I don't like to overly plan too much. I like to know my character, but the more you play the character over time, the more you all of a sudden start going, she wouldn't eat that. It's just weird how you all of a sudden assume that this other person that you're playing, you know what she likes to eat, and these things. So there's a lot of fun in playing these characters, and Jacqueline certainly has a lot of layers, so it's a whole thing.
Yeah, this is a great film for the thriller genre. Do you have any personal favorite thrillers?
Oh boy. I mean, old school thrillers, like you remember all the Michael Douglas movies and you remember the old 90s was such a great era for thrillers. You know what I mean? And the thing I like about Crescent City is he kind of it's a little bit 90s. Do you know what I mean? Which is kind of old school. That's when those movies were at their peak. They were so cool and you would be so invested. And there's so many of them now when you go on, TV and you sort of all your stuff. There's thousands of them. You think of all the brilliant thrillers that have been made over the years, and hopefully this will slot into there and people can and go back to this movie. And once you've seen it and you know what happens, there is an opportunity to go back and be like, did I see things coming? And you will see that we give hints along the way.
Everyone's a suspect in this film until the big reveal. We won't give that away. But what is it like not knowing who the killer is? I know RJ was saying that, they didn't really know till at the end who they wanted to select.
Well, we did. We did know what was going on, but as an actor in the moment, it's that for me, it's like day by day, right? So we're shooting this completely out of order. We're shooting crazy scenes at the end of the movie, at the first few days of shooting. We haven't even lived out the chaos of what's happening. So to help me sort of get through it and understand it is to just authentically stay in the moment of what this scene means, what's happening. Yes, where have I come from? Where am I going? But what is happening to this person in this scene? What is the reality? What lands us in this foundation here and keeps it authentic is about as much as I can do in these productions because you have 2-3 weeks to shoot them. You can't think so extravagantly big and how are we going to, because you can't play that out on camera. You can only play what's happening in the moment. And so to help my brain process, that's all I was doing. And you just play it as real as possible. And, sometimes there are hints in those moments that could make you think, is she the killer? Is he the killer? Is one of them into this? You know what I mean? Or is it someone else? Who is it? So it's fun. It's definitely fun. But the key for me personally is to stay quite present.
Yeah, my brain was working overtime as it was playing
Yeah.
out. I do want to ask you about, you had such a great run on Scrubs. I want to know what your fondest memory was on that show because everyone loved your character on that.
I think I'd read for something else. And what's his name? Bill Lawrence had called me in and said, we loved your read, so we're going to put you in Scrubs, our series. I'm like, wow, because Scrubs is, such a huge series at the time. They had done 8 seasons and it was comedy. It was what I loved. And I'm with some really, really successful actors. That's one of the first jobs I did in LA. So it's a little overwhelming being on the Scrubs set, and they gave me these huge medical terms to say. I still remember some of them because I had to memorize them. That's like 15 years ago. But it was so scary, like going home just learning these medical words. And thank God they let me be Australian in it. But I had a I had a blast. That show's so funny and random. I was just on a plane to Europe and there's a guy sitting on the plane watching it and I couldn't help myself. I had to whisper in his ear. I just said, I was in season 9. What? I love this show. It holds. It was a very clever show with a certain kind of comedy and all the characters. So it was early on in my career. That was such a cool gig to get. I know. It was really cool.
Yeah, what a cast that was. I just recently spoke to Donald Faison, and the whole interview, it's just like a big, just laughing the whole time. Like he's such a jokester.
Donald, he's hysterical. I run into him and his wife and his kids down Ventura Boulevard sometimes. Best people. They are hysterical. Like Zach Braff, all of them. Those guys are so much fun.
Yeah, definitely a great show. Definitely loved it. But super excited got to talk to you. Excited to what you have next. But yeah, Crescent City is gonna keep your brain just running well after the credits are rolling. You gotta watch it at least 2 or 3 times.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you, love.
Once again, this is Chantage, the mayor of Nerdtropolis, and stay tuned for more movie news, reviews, interviews, and trailers.